about second breakfast.
Time for second breakfast.
What's up, everybody? Monster from Breakdowns for Breakfast here for our final installment of the top 50 nu metal albums of all time. Monster Blind Reacts. We have had a wild ride, some expected, some unexpected, some that had me flabbergasted. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go back and listen to last week's episode. But we are into the final top 10. I am excited. I'm ready to see what these are. As I've done at the beginning of other episodes, I've given my top, what I think will be the top 5, or at the very least 5 that'll be in the top 10. I already got one of those blown out because I had Limp Bizkit's Significant Other, and that turned out to be number 14. So the other 4 that I have listed here are Korn's Follow the Leader, System of a Down Toxicity, Deftones White Pony, and Linkin Park Hybrid Theory. Now, my prediction for the number 1 album, if you guys are just listening and you're not watching this, which, why wouldn't you want to look at me? Come on. I am wearing my Korn Follow the Leader tour shirt from 1999 when I saw them with Videodrone and Rob Zombie opening, of all people. So, I'm hype. I'm pushing for Follow the Leader. Fingers crossed. But we'll see how it goes. Here we go. Top 10. At number 10, we have Disturbed the Sickness. This album rules. It is weird. It is kooky. It is strange. But man, is it fun. So this is another one. I had heard Stupefy on a sampler and loved it. And was like, okay, I'm all in. I'm getting this the day it comes out. And man, what a wild ride that album is. You've got Voices, obviously Down with the Sickness. There's a lot of stuff near the end that gets really wacky. There's a song called Droppin' Plates that is really wacky. Believe there's a cover on this album. They do a cover on pretty much every album. And, you know, David Draymond, say what you will about him. He is a showman. His lyrics are pretty bonkers and off the wall. But, you know, when this album came out, they were rolling him out on a stretcher, and he was like wearing like a Hannibal Lecter mask and, you know, really wild stuff. But this is a fun album. If you like nu metal, and you've probably heard, you know, Down with the Sickness, which is crazy to me that was a radio single, honestly. But, you know, you might have heard a song or two. But if you actually go back and listen to this album from start to finish, it is gonzo bananas. So to me, I'm genuinely shocked that they have gone on to have the mainstream career that they have had, with the starting point being so off the wall. I still think Stupefy is a great song. I see why that one didn't make it to the radio as much, because there's a lot of F words in it. But good song, great album. I think we're kicking off the top 10 strong. So number 9. Number 9, Follow the Leader by Korn. Well, there he goes. That was my number 1 pick. This is when I fell in love with Korn. I talk about Korn a lot on the show. I'm a huge fan. And I had heard the first album. I had heard Life is Peachy. I liked both of those. But when I heard Got the Life, the first single off of Follow the Leader, that spoke to me. Because at this point, I'm already listening to nu metal. I'm already, you know, 311. I love 311. But the way Jonathan Davis delivers those verses with the real clicky, funky bass, I was all in. And so, got it the day it came out. Wacky CD trick on that one. I think we've talked about it on breakdowns before. But, like, the album starts on track 13. So the first 12 tracks are just silence, which is super weird. No, I'd never had an album do that before. And so the first song, It's On, great opening riff, really just kicks the album off strong. I mean, then you've got Freak on a Leash, then you've got the song I just said, Got the Life. Then after that is Dead Bodies Everywhere. I mean, this was just a banger after banger after banger. It's still one of my favorite albums of all time. Probably in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. I love the song Justin. I love those dun 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 dun, dun like just straightforward, real chuggy riffs. BBK is another one of my favorite Korn songs. It's one of those like hidden gems, I think. They've got so many well-known songs that some of them kind of slip under the radar, but that one's really good. It's even got a little scat section there in the middle. I could go on and on about this album. I love this album. I love the artwork. All the Seth MacFarlane, Spawn. You can definitely see that in the artwork. Man, I really thought this would be higher. So go figure. But yeah, great album. My favorite Korn album. Like I said, a lot of people I think kind of fell off after the first two. Okay, little last minute prediction. If Follow the Leader is here, I had actually told Mrs. Monster this before we started. I said Follow the Leader I think is my favorite Korn album. I would put it up at the front, but they might put Korn's self-titled album at the front as number one just because it sort of is the beginning point of the genre. So we'll see. All right, so moving on, number 8. Oh, man. System of a Down. I don't have much to say about this. We already talked about this on Mesmerize. I am not familiar with much of System of a Down's stuff because I don't know. It's just a little bit too wacky for me. I like it when they lock in and they got some heavy riffs. And I think what's really blowing my mind right now is Toxicity will still be here. Toxicity is the biggest System of a Down album. It's one of the biggest nu metal albums of all time. Far more impressive than this. So good for them for having 2 albums in the top 10. But I don't know. Like I said when we talked about Mesmerize briefly, I know a couple songs off of this album. I thought Sugar was great. I remember seeing the video for that and being real into it. But overall, just, I don't know. I will say this. I don't have much of a desire to go back and listen to like Hypnotize, Mesmerize. I've worn Toxicity out. I'm willing to go back and listen to this one a couple more times. As an older guy now, maybe I can appreciate it more. When I was younger and I liked the stuff that was a little bit more locked in and maybe digestible, I just did not work for me. So I'm willing to give it another shot. We'll see. So, all right, System of a Down, number 8. Number 7, Slipknot by Slipknot. Now, I already talked about this briefly when Volume 3 came up. This album rules. I got this album. I did not know what it was going to sound like. Sick kicks in. Well, the first song is just weird noises and scary stuff. And then the song Sick comes on, and it just blew my mind. It's Joey Jordison's drums. I mean, I can't say anything that hasn't already been said. His drum work is phenomenal. This is Corey at his most unhinged, lyrically, vocally, incredible album. Wait and Bleed, great song. Surfacing, there's Spit It Out. There's just so many good songs on this album. And what's wild is I actually bought it so early. It was when the song, oh gosh, I can't remember if it was Prosthetics or Scissors, but one of them was deemed so controversial, I guess, that it actually got removed and a different song called Me Inside got put on instead. Me Inside's a cool song. I don't mind it, but I had the OG version with the nasty song on it. Especially by today's standards, if you know anything about Slipknot, they are what they are, but it's like, wow, it was deemed that scary, huh? The Masks, obviously, as a horror movie guy, I thought that was great. Yeah, this album rules. I will say it's a little long, and for as heavy as it is, it can get a little bit taxing or fatiguing. I will say this is my favorite Slipknot album. I like Volume 3 and I like Iowa, but to me, there's a lot more record scratches on this one. There's a better mix of vocals for me on this one. Yeah, not mad about that at all. Great album, a lot of fun. Well, I say fun, it's pretty disturbing, but hey, rock on. Number 6, Linkin Park, Meteora. Now, this is interesting because I was curious to see what they would do here, because I feel like when most people are asked what's the best Linkin Park album, it's Hybrid Theory or Meteora. And I'll be honest with you, on any given day, I might flip-flop those. Me personally, I go Hybrid Theory because it was the first one. It was the first one I ever heard. I'm not going to say too much because it might still be in the top 5. We'll see. But Meteora is also a great album. I remember when I first heard the video, saw the video for Somewhere I Belong, and being immediately hyped for it. I loved the okay, so if talking about band DVDs again, I had the Linkin Park home video, I think it was called Live from the Pancake Festival or something silly. And there was a part where they were all on the tour bus, and Mike was like, hey, y'all, come here, check this out. And he's playing this this weird little synth thing. And it turned out to be the intro of Somewhere I Belong. So it was really cool, if you had that and then, knew it was coming. A lot of the song titles are escaping me right now, but obviously the big ones, you've got Faint, which is still a staple in their set. I would put this as my second favorite. I'm going to give a slight edge to Hybrid Theory. Controversial take. I think my third favorite is probably their most recent album, From Zero, with Emily Armstrong. I've made my thoughts perfectly clear on that. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. Meteor is a great album. Linkin Park has this, especially those first 2 albums, the production on those first 2 albums is so good. And for as much as I like Hybrid Theory, I think Hybrid Theory has better songs. I think Meteora has better production. So, okay. Number 5. Here we go. Let's see how many I got right. Number 5 is White Pony by Deftones. So guess what? So far, I got one. I have made my thoughts on Deftones very clear on Breakdowns for Breakfast and doing these episodes. This is sort of the beginning of the end for me. I like a lot of this album. I think it sounds good. I like some of the experimentation. This is another one I bought the day it came out, so it didn't have that Back to School Little Maggot song at the beginning. So for me, it just jumped right into the weird new White Pony stuff. I had heard Change. I think they released that before the album came out, but that wasn't that different. It had a little bit of a vibe of, what is it called? Be Quiet and Drive. So it was I didn't love Change, but I was all right. But then, the first couple songs on this album, they're a little different than Around the Fur and Adrenaline. So I will say I've gone back to this one over the years, and similar to some of the other stuff I've mentioned, I liked those first 2 albums so much that when this one came out, I wasn't sure about it. And I'm still not 100% behind it. But this is one I'd be willing to revisit a little bit more. I do really like the weird vibe of Digital Bath. I think that has a really cool vibe to it. And then, can't remember the name. We've talked about it on the show. We've referenced it before. I think it's track 3 where it's real heavy and Chino's screaming that, when you're ripe, you'll bleed out of control. I like that song a lot. Again, not my favorite. This is sort of when I stopped really following Deftones. I still do. I think Diamond Eyes is a pretty cool album. I think they're working on new stuff. I'll always give the new album a listen. I listened to Ohms when it came out. I listened to Gore when it came out. I can't tell you anything off of them, but I know I listened to them. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I had a feeling. It is what it is. Most people, a lot of Deftones fans, if you're that's one of your favorite bands, I would imagine White Pony is top 2 or 3 favorite Deftones albums. So I get why it's here. All right, here we go. Number 4, Slipknot, Iowa. Now, I've already kind of expressed some of my thoughts on Iowa. It's too much, man. Like, I love the first album, and I like Volume 3 because it is a little bit more mainstream. The songs are a little bit easier to digest. Iowa's just nasty heavy. Yeah, we call it nu metal because this is back when Slipknot was still, their first couple albums. But, dude, this album is brutal. You got songs like the Heretic Anthem. I did really like, oh, man. That's the problem with doing these blind. I don't have the track listings in front of me. But there's that song that was on the Resident Evil soundtrack that I really, really like. There's a couple really cool music videos off of this album as well. I get it. It's super heavy. It's got its moments, but for me, it's just like, I don't know, man. I like the first one better. I either one of those two, obviously, whoever wrote this list is a big fan of Slipknot. I don't blame them. But yeah, come on, you can't go wrong with a song called People Equal Shit. Like, I get it. So, all right, number 4, Iowa by Slipknot. This is one I have gone back and revisited, and I think what I need to do, we talk about this on the show, I think I need to start it at like track 6. I think if maybe I just like jump in on the middle and write it out from there, maybe I won't feel like I'm being like beaten to death the entire time I'm listening to it. Because if I remember correctly, there's very little in the way of slowdown on that album. It's brutal. So anyway, here we go. The moment of truth. Top 3. Number 3, there it is. Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. This album like just changed the world when it first came out. It's heavy. It's poppy. The rapper is good. The singer is good. The screaming is good. This is one similar to the Monitor This CDs I was getting. This one I actually got a sampler cassette that had One Step Closer on one side and With You on the other. And I remember playing that for anybody who would listen. I actually had to get the CD ordered when it came out because the store wasn't even carrying it because nobody knew who the hell they were yet. And I just knew they were going to blow up. I was so excited when they started to blow up. This album's great. To this day, I might embarrass myself here. I don't know if I can actually do it, but I'm thinking like, okay, Paper Cut, One Step Closer, With You, Points of Authority, Crawling, Runaway, Place for My Head, In the End. I mixed those two up. Cure for the Itch, Pushing Me Away. Oh, I think there's one more song. In a memory you'll find me. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it. Damn, I thought I knew them all. Clearly, I've listened to this album many, 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 many times. This is when I, got to meet him, was on this, that Kings of the Game tour. Chester was very nice to me. They were all very nice to me because I was a young dude and I was probably the only person there that actually had the album and knew the songs. But yes, great album. Probably would be around this number for me in my top 50 nu metal list as well. So not mad about it. Number 2, Toxicity by System of a Down. I can't talk about System of a Down all that much more. I've said about all I can say. But what I will say is I get why this one is so popular. Chop Suey, Aerials, the lyrics on this one are, at least in my opinion, are a little bit more comprehensible. Sometimes they just goofy to be goofy, like on songs like Pogo, but still, this one works better for me, I think, because of the production. I feel like the guitars are heavier. Even though the songs are not my cup of tea, I get why people dig this because it sounds really good. It is a good nu metal album. The Prison song, the opening track, I actually love the way this album starts because the first thing is just junk. Junk. I love the way it starts. But it doesn't matter what album it is. If it's System of a Down, I have to be in the mood for it because it's just got this, like, okay, so like there's bands like Bloodywood, there's bands like Baby Metal, there's bands like Puya that mix like ethnic instrumentation into their music, where System of a Down, like, I feel like I would be able to like link up with them a little bit better if they did that. But instead it's more in the lyrics than it is in the music. So the music is just kind of wackadoodle, and I get why it's popular. I completely understand, but it's not my favorite. I definitely, if I was doing a top 50, I would probably put it on the list. Toxicity, I probably would. But number 2, probably not. All right, so here we go. Number 1. At this point, like I said, if it's not Follow the Leader, it's got to be their self-titled album by Korn. That's my prediction. Korn by Korn. I mean, what can you say? It's the grunge. If Nevermind by Nirvana is the grunge album, this is the NuMetal album. This is, I did not hear this when it first came out. Like I said, I had heard Got the Life, which made me go back and listen to the first 2 albums. But I mean, there's no denying this album is a game changer. Up until this point, you had heavy bands that were mixing, obviously the infamous Public Enemy Anthrax thing, and Aerosmith and Run DMC. Like, you had bands mixing rock with hip hop. That wasn't uncommon. But Korn was the first band to do it as a full unit, not just a one-off song. And they did it with sort of this like swagger and confidence, especially for a debut album. I will say some of this has aged poorly. There's a song on there that I will not say the title of, but it begins with an F and ends with Get, that at the time, and still is a powerful song. It really, really is. But obviously that's a little bit kind of not politically correct anymore. There's also a song at the end called Daddy that's really hard to listen to. But there's a lot of stuff there that's still great. I think Clown is a great song. Chutes and Ladders, where they do the nursery rhymes all heavy, is still kind of a classic. There's some goofy stuff like Helmet in the Bush. But I mean, the opening track, Blind, when that hi-hat comes in and those weird like out of tune guitars, and then the do-doom, 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 do-doom. And then, of course, Jonathan Davis with the "Are You Ready" scream. I mean, it's undeniable. It's undeniable. So I totally get why this is number 1. Like I said, I knew it would be Korn. It has to be Korn. Korn is the nu metal pioneers. They're the ones that, people like to get nitpicky and, Faith No More or Primus or whatever. Like, yeah, those might have been sort of, or Rage Against the Machine. But I think Korn is the first band to really create their own sound that other bands began to emulate. There's a ton of Faith No More and Rage Against the Machine influence on this album. Absolutely. But Korn is as far as I'm concerned, is like the daddy of nu metal. So putting their first album at number 1 makes total sense. Hey, I might have got the album wrong, but I got the band right. So I'm halfway correct there. So, woo, what a ride. As a diehard nu metal fan, this was really fun for me. I don't know if it was as much fun for you guys to listen as it was for me to discover what the next album was going to be. But this was cool as hell for me. I had a lot of fun. Please give me some feedback. Shoot us an email, breakdownsbreakfast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, X, Breakdowns for Breakfast, and all those. And what do you think of this list? At least the top like 5 or 10. Do you think that, yes, those were right. No, those were wrong. Do you think Korn's overrated? Do you think Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, any of those bands are overrated? Do you think I'm nuts to think System of a Down is not that great? Like, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to, have a conversation about it, but Woo, what a ride. Man, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and coming along with me on this wild journey. So until next time, we'll see you then. Have a good day.